projects, and even some where we wish they were. The question is called Blue Cat Blues. And yes, it does open up with Tom sitting on the railroad tracks waiting to be run over. Jerry watches, shaking his head. Monologue gives us the story. Apparently, Tom and Jerry used to be the best of friends. But don't worry, they still get smashed up pretty good. Until a female comes into their lives, pushing Jerry aside, but then she falls in love with another cat. Tom does everything to try and win her back, even selling an arm and a leg for her, but absolutely nothing works. Eventually, she ends up getting married to the other cat, Tom being so beaten and torn that he lays himself on the tracks. Jerry, of course, justifies what a perfect relationship he's got, only to find out his girlfriend as well ran off with someone else. Asking Tom if he can scoot over a bit. Dem dames, eh? Bros before animalized kind of humanistic hoes? Tom and Jerry have been squashed, smashed, beaten, hit with every object you can imagine. I think it's more than likely they would survive a train. But then again, that flexible. You could also make the argument that their acceptance of their doom is what suddenly launches them into a little different. The house looks a little different, the owner's a little different. Hell, Jerry's adopted son Nibbles is left on his doorstep God knows how many times. What, does he just keep sending him back on a douchey? So again, kind of a flexible reality. Commits suicide, they look after a baby. A fucking baby, a touch less depressing, don't you think? In fact, Hanna-Barbera still had 2 years of cartoons that came out after the supposed last episode. So it's pretty obvious this was meant not to be the end for our depressed duo. So then why all the controversy or banning from other channels? Well, because Tom and Jerry ending their lives is kind of a fucking downer. People's sensitivities have changed over time to race, gender, and yes, even some forms of violence. Now that's not to say people haven't also died from shootings and falling off high places and so forth, but the tone is still kept pretty upbeat and in a different reality. This, though still the punchline of a joke, is pretty heavy to watch for this episode when I was a little kid, and I wasn't at all disturbed by it. I got the joke. Jerry thinks he's being above it all and that it could never happen to him, and when it does happen to him, he comedically does the exact same thing. But as much as I love grim humor, not every little kid is going to get it and could easily take it too seriously. Hell, if the internet has shown us anything, it's that even adults can take it too seriously. Sensitive to certain jokes in connection with certain characters. A suicide joke in an episode of Louie wouldn't be that big a deal, but in Tom and Jerry, yeah, many people can get uncomfortable. And shocking ending people are looking for, it's certainly not here. It's a funny little episode with what they thought at the time was a funny little ending. In the end, it's not as epic or god